All right, guys. Griff will be joining me here in a moment. I am sending him a link right now and letting him know. Him and I will both be giving you our thoughts on the game, and we'll talk about it a little bit. I'm not gonna pull up any on-screen displays of stats or metrics or any of that type of stuff. I've got the Game Center set up on the NHL website, and I've got Natural Stat Trick up just to cite a few things, which I'll read them off and talk about how they're relevant to what Griff and I are going to talk about. And he should be coming in here in just a moment. Let me let him know I sent that to him. All righty. But yeah, we will get started here in a moment. My initial thoughts, I'm glad that Carolina battled back and made that a respectable game, but there are a lot of things that are still lingering from the previous series that they really, really need to clean up. The power play tonight was atrocious. There's no other way to, as good as it was during the regular season and as even as mediocre as it kind of was against the Islanders, 0 for 5, there's no excuse for that. You can't do that and win a series, especially when it's a special teams battle. All right, there's Griff.
What's up, buddy?
What's up? How you doing?
Good. Hold on, let me fix my camera here.
Go right ahead. I'll babble until you're ready. So I'm gonna pull up. Let's see. I've got the Game Center or the NHL Game Center up here that has all the basic stats, and I have Natural Stat Trick with all the advanced stuff. So,
do you have a link?
Are
we live?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we're live. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong button that was supposed to have us both on the screen, but now we're good to go. But yeah, so my initial thoughts: unacceptable effort, particularly on the power play and the penalty kill. Got to get back to form, or we're not going to last long.
Yeah. I mean, I thought the Rangers power play was kind of an extension of the fact that the Rangers were in our heads early.
Mm-hmm.
You could just tell that, when Carolina came out, their thoughts were on the physicality, the potential of the physicality of the game. And then as soon as Jarvis took that hit, it was like all common sense was gone for a good 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not just any one player. That's the entire team. I mean, if they could have just figured out how to just skate away from that, and skate away, take your power play and score, then all of that stops.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like from that moment for like the next 10 minutes or even, to the end of the period, it was just like, I mean, chaos, but in a bad way, right?
Yes, not the type that we're used to creating.
Right. I mean, that's just my initial thoughts. And I mean, the rest of the game was fine. You give up 2 power play goals to the Rangers. I think they kept saying on the broadcast, 14 seconds for 2 power play goals in both. I think it was 9 seconds on the first one and maybe it was 14 on the second. I don't know, but just no time at all, and they bury 2 power play goals, and that's the difference in the game.
Yes, absolutely.
So, but the rest of the game was fine. Something to build off of. I think Freddie, 3 of the goals weren't his fault. The Panarin goal was.
Mm-hmm.
He should have had that one.
Yeah, the fourth one definitely I kind of put on him. I hate that Burns turned it over the manner in which he did, but it was also kind of like, what else do you do in that situation? If he stands there, he gets his pocket picked. If he does nothing with the puck, he's in a worse situation than that.
Right.
So,
but I mean, that's that. I mean, stuff to build off of. I think they can. If they come out in game 2 and play kind of an extension of this third period that they just played, I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, I do too. Especially the third period, I was much happier with how they played. The second period, it felt kind of like, especially in the latter part of it, they were kind of starting to take over a little bit. But I think that here's one of the questions I have to ask: is it time to give Kochetkov a game?
I mean, why not? Yeah, I think so. I think I would go to Kochetkov in game 2. Freddie struggled a little bit, I thought. And I mean, New York didn't really have a ton of shots, neither did we, but the shots that he did face, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
that
just so
was
back and forth about this game. I'm still trying to process everything, so my thoughts are kind of everywhere.
yeah, the shot volume was definitely really low for what Carolina normally produces, and I didn't feel like that they were getting to how much they normally shoot until at the end when they got desperate. The last few minutes of that game, if they played a little bit more like that, if they had a few more sequences like that, they at least go to overtime.
Right.
So I'm going to pull up something here real quick for us to talk about. So let's see. From the game stats here, shots on goal, Carolina ultimately had 25 to the Rangers 23. So despite how bad of a start it was, they ultimately did outshoot them. Face-off percentage, I'm really happy about this. 53.1 for Carolina versus 46.9 for the Rangers. That's a step in the right direction considering how wishy-washy it was during the series with the Islanders. Penalty minutes 8 to 12. Hits, this is surprising to me, but it doesn't surprise me at all that after witnessing it, I just didn't think it would go this way. Carolina 28, Rangers 29. And that kind of alludes to what you were talking about before. The Hurricanes are trying to match the physical game, and I think it allowed the Rangers to get in their heads early. Block shots 14 for Carolina, 28 for the Rangers. Giveaways 9 and 10, takeaways 6 and 4. So let me see what else that I want to look at here. Scoring summary. So excuse me. So Mika Zibanejad scored. That was the first goal, and that was on the power play. Or no, I take that back. That one was 5-on-5. Okay. Let me find it. Here we go. So Zibanejad scored 2 goals, one on 5-on-5, one on the power play. Slavin had the first one for us from Aho and Gensel. Gensel is a curious case to me right now. We brought him in to put the puck in the net, and he's hesitating to shoot in situations that I never thought I would see him hesitate to shoot. Because I remember watching him play the year that he won the cup with the Penguins. The guy picked his corners, it seemed like every single chance that he got. Now he's not wanting to shoot it. I don't understand why.
Yeah, there was a piece that came out by a writer at The Athletic. I think it was Russo. I don't know if anybody read that article. I think it came out yesterday, and it was a sit down with Gensel, and
Mm-hmm.
he admitted as much. He said, I've hesitated to shoot the puck. I know I need to do that. I know what they brought me. That's what they brought me here for.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I saw in the second half of the game him try to shoot the puck a little more. There wasn't a lot of ice out there
Mm-hmm.
on either side. A lot of the shots were deflected or blocked, or man, we whiffed on a ton.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought in the first half of the game, the first period and the beginning of the second, yeah, there was just a lot of shot opportunities where they decided to pass instead of take the shot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. They're going to have to shoot the puck, especially Gensel. Aho, shoot the puck. Puck's on net. We saw what happens when you shoot, right? Slavin with goal number 1 from the blue line, puck on net, nice little deflection, it went in. That's how you
Mm-hmm.
beat Shesterkin.
Mm-hmm.
These extra passes aren't going to cut it.
No, that was one thing I noticed too. It seemed like they played hot potato on entry really bad in the first 2 periods. They started to clean it up a little bit in the third, but I can't count the number of times that I heard John Fordsland in my head saying one pass too many, as we used to hear him say very often. But there was something definitely off with them when they had possession. I don't know really how to describe it, but the first 2 periods, it's like they were afraid to have the puck. They were afraid to shoot it. The entries were okay for the most part. Like that second goal that Nate just scored when he jumped in there, he'd been trying to do that the entire game, but they were hesitating to distribute the puck on entry. Otherwise, he's probably got at least 2 goals tonight as opposed to just 1.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This was a weird game. I know that like there's been a layoff, but the Rangers had a layoff too. That can't be an excuse. It's
No.
like you got to come out ready to play and start on time, and they didn't do that. It cost them the game ultimately.
Yeah, and I don't think that was the problem. I think they started fine. I think they had their legs early. I just think they didn't play their game in the beginning. They were playing into the Rangers BS.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what ultimately cost them. I mean, other than the obvious that they couldn't kill the penalties, but I think that if you just I think there's something to build off here, right? It wasn't when this, the first period, I thought we were cooked, right? I was like, oh man, this is going to be awful.
Mhm.
But the fact that they were, able to bring this game within a goal, and ultimately had a chance to tie late. That's a good sign. You're in MSG, hostile environment. The crowd was,
That's a hard place to take a game
yeah,
one on the road.
yeah,
Absolutely.
crowd was rocking.
My buddy Steve that I was talking to earlier on here, him and I were texting during the game a little bit too, and I was like, MSG is a hard place to take a game one. It
Yeah.
really is. So, like I said, I'm glad they battled back, but at least it's like the issues that they're having are, I'm not going to say they're easily fixable, but they've got their work cut out for them. It's apparent what's wrong. This isn't one of those situations where we dominated a full 60 and didn't win.
Right.
So it's like, what you have to do to fix it to make the mathematical difference. That's the upside of it.
Absolutely. And you can tell, I mean, we were the better team 5-on-5.
Absolutely. Yes.
And that's what everybody's been saying leading up to the series, right? 5-on-5 is our advantage, but it's going to come down to special teams. I mean, we had 5 power plays and couldn't score on any of them. Well,
yeah,
it was actually
we
4
put
and
one of
3
those in.
seconds.
We're in overtime.
Absolutely. One. Or if we kill one of theirs.
Yeah.
Or both.
That's all.
If you kill both, we win the game. I mean,
yeah,
in theory.
Well, I mean, you're absolutely right, and that's the common consensus. Special teams is going to be the big deal here, and tonight it was the deciding factor.
Yeah. Yep. But I released, after every game, I do Griff's 3 thoughts on X, right? And tonight was, my first one was, bad start, right? Bad start, solid finish. And then just what we talked about, kill a penalty, and it's in overtime, score on the power play and kill one of theirs. We win the game. Something to build off of, right? Something to build off of. You can absolutely win game 2. I didn't really go in tonight thinking that we would get the win, but I was hopeful, if we could, that'd be great. But get game 2, come back home, and we're cooking.
Yeah, I think so too. The officiating tonight, and this goes both ways, not good.
No, I agree.
I didn't like it in either direction at all. I didn't like the penalty on Tony D'Angelo, and I think the Rempe one was actually pretty soft too. Like, for example, I just think I think the officiating was bad tonight. And if they have to if they have to huddle, how many times did the officials have to huddle tonight to discuss things like that? The Trocheck over the glass one, that discussion shouldn't have been a discussion. I'm watching it on TV and I noticed that.
Yeah. Yeah, there was that one, and then there was the gaff with the Natchez trip they called. Well, they called him they put Natchez in the box for a trip. And then they called a 5-minute major. And then they reviewed it. And then they let Natchez out of the box and put Tony in.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm not sure what the rule is there. I know if you call a major, you can review it and change it, right? And reduce it to a minor. I don't know. There's a lot of people that came out and said that, okay, well, you can't change the individual that the penalty was called on. I don't know if that's true or not, but the entire sequence there was just a bad look for the officials.
Pat, the ref, has something to say here. Let's see what he has to say. I will say the 4th goal was near perfect shot under the arm. I'm sure he wants it back, but it was a decent shot. Yeah, not to mention it's Artemi Panarin. I mean, and well, that's another thing I noticed tonight. Let me look at the scoring summary again. Zibanejad from Roslovic, Zibanejad from Kreider and Trocheck, Trocheck from Zibanejad and Kreider, Panarin from Lafreniere. It was all their top 6 that scored tonight.
Yeah.
They do not. The only defenseman that factored in on their scoring at all was Adam Fox. Whereas we had defense factoring in on, let's see, Slavin from Aho and Gensel, Natchez from Martinook and Orlov, Jarvis from Aho and Burns. So quietly, Aho had a 3-point night. Or I'm sorry, a 2-point night. So, it's like, and I was okay with how he played tonight. I think they need to shake up the forwards. Maybe put Svetch back with Stahl and move Jarvis up, because Jarvis is playing out of his mind right now. He needs to have some more minutes.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think moving Svetch up to the top line was good against the Islanders, right? Matchup wise. The Rangers are not the same matchup as the Islanders, so maybe Jarvis had a great night. He was everywhere.
Yes.
Like, he was very noticeable. So maybe move Jarvis back to the top. Like you said, that'd be a solid, thing to do. But like we said, you know, when we did our collaboration with
Mhm.
the Caniac report, their top six is dangerous, right? We're deeper as a forward core, but their top six is dangerous, and a lot of that's matchup driven. I would expect us to be able to shut down their top six a little more once we get to dictate matchups at home.
Mhm.
That's when I think you'll really see us pull away from their forward group as a whole.
Mhm.
Tonight wasn't the case, but either way, that fourth goal, like just to talk to Pat the ref here, that fourth goal, yeah, it was a great shot, but I mean, look, in my opinion, and this is just Griff, but if you've got a chance to say if that puck hits you in the chest, or you know, you've got to have that shot. Put the elbow down, make that make that save. You've got to have the save.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, it was a great shot, but you're allowed to save the shot, Freddie. So that's just my opinion. I mean, it's unfortunate. I don't really blame Freddie 100%, but and it was part of that was on Burns. If Burns doesn't turn the puck over,
Speaking
that
of,
oh yeah, look at that.
yeah, yeah,
J-Dub.
Yeah, he's a very frequent contributor. I think he listens to you guys too. That goal was on Burns' horrible lazy pass in the neutral zone. Yeah, that was that he was in a pretty messed up situation. That's one of those times where I kind of wish he had just either dumped it in or maybe lobbed it over or everything like that. I mean, granted, our frame of reference is much slower than theirs, but the moment that he like coughed that puck up on that turnover and it went off of whoever it was it went off of before Panarin got it, I was like, ah, hell, that's not good.
Yeah. I mean, look, and I see Kyler just put in a comment as well. If you
Yeah,
want to
I'll
throw
put
that
his
up.
up now. Fourth goal
Correct.
was yeah.
Yeah, correct. You know, I agree with that. But
Mm,
I'm not saying Freddie should have had the like it was a 50-50 play. I'm just saying, like, if you need a save in key moments, that was a key moment. If we would have gotten the save, the result could be different, right?
mhm,
Overtime, or you know, who knows? Who knows what happens from there? But you know, it was a response to a goal that we just scored. We just recently went to two,
mhm,
drew within one, and Panarin goes back down off a turnover from Burns,
mhm,
buries the puck past Freddie. That's all I'm saying.
mhm. Oh, and we got another one here. This one is from Jordan. Forgive me if I pronounce this incorrectly. Nepper, I believe that is. Sorry, just jumping in. IDK, if you talked about the PK yet, but how did we do so unusually bad with that? Oh, we've been talking about that a lot. Like even before we jumped on the stream, the power, or excuse me, the penalty kill is uncharacteristically bad right now, and it has been the entire playoffs. If that doesn't get fixed, Carolina's cooked,
Yeah, for sure.
especially against the Rangers.
And we talked about this at the beginning, but I think that first power play, we kind of got caught in that was still at the period where they were in our heads. We were
Mhm,
playing sloppy. We were responding to their BS. Um, I don't know. It was just I didn't think it was bad as far as the scheme goes. Like they were, it wasn't like they were wildly out of position or they weren't pressuring the puck or any of that. Like, you just got beat off a nice pass on a little rush there by Zibanejad. And I mean, there's nothing Freddie could do. He just buries the puck,
mhm.
right from the slot. I mean,
Yeah.
there's nothing you can do. But somebody should have picked that up,
Mhm.
but they didn't. And I don't know. Second one, we got to win faceoffs on the
Right.
on the penalty kill. Like that's what it comes down to.
Mhm.
I think what were the numbers again on the faceoffs tonight?
The faceoffs, Carolina actually did better, 53.1 to 46.9. That's pretty solid. That's usually enough to win you a close game. So I'm much less worried about the faceoffs than what I was before, because against the Islanders in games 3 and 4, they were atrocious. It cost us game
Right.
4 against the Islanders.
I just thought in key moments, like when we were on the penalty kill or on the power play, those offensive draws where you want to have, so you don't have to go chase the puck and re-enter the zone and set up and all that stuff. Or,
Mhm.
on a penalty kill when you win the draw and clear the puck immediately and make them have to re-enter the zone. I thought that key moments like that, we weren't winning those faceoffs. And I think that was an issue in itself.
Yeah, I agree because like now that I'm thinking about one thing I will say though, the linesmen were much better about dropping the puck and there wasn't nearly as much like in the last series we saw people getting waved out left and right. That
Yeah.
wasn't so bad because the more you do that, the more guys try to jump the face off and the longer it takes to realign everything and get everybody where they're supposed to be and drop the puck again. So let's see. We have Jeremy's point of view who says time for Kochekov in net. Also, I feel like Orlov with his blistering shot or D'Angelo needs to QB the power play. Burns seems to be showing his age more and more. Love him, but a change is needed. I don't necessarily think that. Okay, so I am a proponent of putting Tony back on the power play. It's not so much because I think Burns or Shea is doing badly in the quarterback position. It's kind of like when you make a goaltending change, kind of to shake things up, galvanize guys to start playing a little bit better, or like you shake up the forward lines to try and find some new chemistry that works. Orlov is actually not a big power play guy, believe it or not. He has the shot velocity to get a lot of stuff through, but as far as vision and distribution and the ability to walk the blue line, he's pretty good at it. But Tony is a specialist at that. And while he's in the lineup, because he's not going to be once Pesci's ready to go, you might as well utilize him now and try and galvanize the power play, I think. Yes.
I mean, I'm kind of indifferent on it. I think I don't think it matters. I don't think the issue stems from the quarterback of the power play. I think the issue is when we're passing the puck and, depending upon who has the puck, I think there's too much hesitation, trying to make a decision on where to go next. It's too deliberate at times, right? The power play, the more you can catch the defense off guard, the more successful your power play will be. It needs to be quicker, more passing. I noticed that the passes that we tried to make tonight, a lot of them were through the middle of the defense and they were able to get a stick or block the pass or disrupt it somehow or whatever. I don't know if the issue is the quarterback of the power play distributing the puck. I think it's that secondary pass after it comes from the blue line I think it's that next pass after that's the issue, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know how you fix that. I think quit trying to make, I think the way that you can beat the Rangers and Shesterkin on our power play is get pucks to the net and you get those second chances off the rebound, those greasy goals, right? Like kind of like how we scored the third goal today. I think that is how you score on the Rangers on the power play.
Yeah, I agree with that for the most part. The reason I think Tony would be good to kind of maybe shake things up on the power play, because the moment Pesci's back, he's out of the lineup anyway. So Shea or Burns, whoever they take off of, which I imagine would more likely be Shea, they're back in there anyway. Tony's really good at opening up the penalty killing formations with as well as he walks the blue line. That might give the guys in front of him a little bit more time and space to make those secondary passes like you were talking about. And if he doesn't do well, yank him off of it and throw Shea back on there, throw Burns back on there.
Yeah.
I don't think Burns is going to lose his power play spot. I really don't.
And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with, like I said, I don't think it matters at this point who the quarterback is. Yeah, you're right. Tony may open up, the defenders a little more, creating some room for passes to connect or whatever. I mean, it doesn't hurt, right? But whatever you do, whatever changes you want to make or whatever you want to try, it better happen in game 2, because when we get back to home for game 3, you need to know what you want to do against this team, in my opinion.
Yeah,
because games 3 and 4 are essential.
Yes, and if we're going to go ahead and give Kochekov a start, now's the time to see if maybe he's a little bit more effective against the play style of the Rangers. He's much more aggressive. That's a good time to give it a try, because Kochekov likes to come out of the net. He likes to poke check. Right. He doesn't hesitate. For better or worse, he does not hesitate. There is no hesitation to his game at all. The goal that Panarin scored, I don't think he would have got that one against Kochekov, because Kochekov would have been out at the top of the circle when Panarin had the puck because he's a madman.
I mean, maybe. Yeah, I'm not blaming this loss on Freddie by any means. That puck that Panarin shot was a 50-50 chance. Sometimes, if you shoot that puck 10 times, 5 times it's safe, 5 times it's not.
Yeah, I agree.
But, it doesn't – I think now is the time to go to Kochetkov. after an emotional loss on the road, coming back to the same building on game 2, might as well. Maybe he can, provide a spark. So, yeah. I think we got some more comments over here if we want to keep going through.
We do. All right, let's see. Jeremy's point. Okay, I just did that one. J-Dub says, Jordan, I think they were too far up in the zone and letting the Rags get in behind them on the goal. Orlov cheated up high, and Stahl crossed over to help and left the back door open on the other one. Depending on which ones y'all are talking about, I'm actually not sure which. J-Dub, which goal are you talking about, buddy?
Maybe they're talking about the Rags get behind them on the goal. Is that the first goal maybe that he's talking about?
I think so, yeah.
Where Teravainen was kind of skating off into the corner and left Zibanejad coming straight through the slot?
Yeah, maybe? And he had enough time to make a sandwich in the high slot.
He's meaning on the power play goal, Kyler just said. Talking about both PKs. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Maybe so. I mean, I didn't watch it again after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
I just I'm going off of just what I saw live.
Yeah, I'm going off of memory for the most part, too. We're a bit slow on the PK. We're running a zone diamond, yet the players are coming out with man-to-man plays, and it allows easy one-touch pass. Shea and Stahl mean well, but they go out of place. Okay. Yeah, I know which ones they're talking about now. J-Dub, we hit a couple of posts, only one play away from winning this game. I believe that we will be fine. That first period layoff killed us as usual. Yeah, that's something we were kind of talking about. It's like this game was like, for all the faults the Hurricanes had, it's apparent the things that they need to fix. It's not one of the ones that we dominated from beginning to end and still lost. So that's the one good thing about it. You can pinpoint exactly what you need to fix, and then all you have to do from there is fix it. So, and they're still fine 5-on-5. If they've got that, that's a foundation to build on. That's fixing stuff 5-on-5 is significantly harder than fixing it in special team situations, in my opinion.
Agree. And who just said that? Was that Jordan?
Yeah, I got to catch up on all these. Let's see. Stahl missed a few wide open chances as well. Yeah, he gave me Teravainen vibes on a couple of them tonight. Some of the ones that he missed.
For whoever said that last comment, though, if you go to Caniac Sessions on X, right, my page, I do a Griff's 3 thoughts after every game, just to kind of what I'm thinking at the time, and that's what I talk about. Like, yeah, we're fine. It's okay. One game. If we can get game 2, that would be great. If not, get both on home ice. So
yeah. And, this could have had a much worse outcome. They could have played the entire game like they did the first period, and then I would actually be really worried. So if they played the entire game like they did the first, I would have been like, okay, this is not good math.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I've been selling my tickets for game 3 and
4. Jordan Nepper, problem is that it was a 1-goal difference. There are too many little problems like this in the first series. Fixing any one issue could have changed the outcome of this game. Yeah, and that's a good thing and a bad thing both, because that means it's like, okay, we're not far from where we need to be. We're not getting dominated in every single way, but it's also kind of troublesome because it's like, okay, we knew we had these issues against the Islanders, and there's been no progress towards solving them, it seems like. But let's just be real. This is the first difficult game the Hurricanes have had in a while as a collective unit. Last couple of games of the regular season were against pretty easy opponents, and we were resting guys. Then we go up against the Islanders, who are a gritty, good team defensively 5-on-5, and now this is the first really difficult matchup the Hurricanes have had in weeks. So hopefully they'll get into more of a rhythm now, because I guarantee you Rod had some stuff to say to them at first intermission after that.
Yeah. I don't think look, just being flat out honest here, we've seen this team play, at the heart, this team is the same team that it's been, over the past few seasons. We don't see this team get down and stay down.
Right.
They're resilient. They will come out on Tuesday. They'll have a plan. And I expect them to be, more focused, more relaxed. They got the initial game jitters out of the way in a hostile environment, and I expect them to come out and play Hurricanes hockey. And I think we take game 2. I do
too.
The penalty kill, I hope, knock on wood, will get back to its form. Just like we saw all season. Team has a bad game, they don't lose consecutive games. I mean, they just don't. the regular season, the only time they lost consecutive games if it was like overtime loss or a shootout loss. Otherwise, if they drop one in regulation, they won the next night. So
I don't think they had back-to-back regulation losses since the players only meeting. I think it
that's it.
was.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. Like they don't need to do any deep soul searching. This is like you're most of the way there. You got to make some adjustments. This was not an end of the world game by any means. It looked like it was going to be that way, but it wasn't. So let's see. Let's go on to the next one here. Kyler has, I fear, playing PK with a risk of going down 2-0 in the series. You don't want guys waking up and seeing that number headed into Carolina. I feel like PK to get a home start in game 3 or so. Yeah, I just have my concerns about Freddie after this game and game 5 in particular. But I'm also kind of like, this is the time where it's like you've had a sample size of Freddie in the series. You might as well go ahead and get an equal sample size of PK now. And then you can decide going into game 3 because you're not really in trouble this early in the series until you lose one at home. I would prefer for them to win game 2, but there needs to be solidified approaches by the time game 3 starts. But I also understand why Kyler's saying the thing he's saying as well.
I think you go to PK. I think you go to. I'm assuming PK means Kochetkov. I like to call him Cooch. I don't care what
I do too. I know he doesn't like it, but it's not his choice.
So we'll just go with Kochetkov here.
Mm-hmm.
I think you go ahead and give him game 2. If he plays well and if he gets the win and he's solid, then roll him back game 3. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good idea because then it's like, okay, if he goes in and plays game 2 and he wins, because we've seen Kochetkov steal games. Freddie, I think, is more of a steady goaltender. He can steal games, but like Kochetkov, it's like there's times where when he's lights out, he is truly lights out, and then he has a bad game eventually at some point down the line. But if Kochetkov is more of a Jekyll and Hyde of a goaltender, and I feel like Freddie is more of a what you're getting pretty much every single time, and he's been above that a lot lately.
Yeah.
Let's see. And AB's down here. I'm going to ignore him after I get through all these. No, I'm just kidding, buddy. Let's see.
No, go ahead and put it up because he's right.
Oh, no, I'll get there in a minute. I was looking at the other one about Svetch. No, I promise I'll get to all of them.
Okay.
Let's see. We could afford to play a little disjointed with the Islanders, but not the Rangers. Absolutely, especially in the defensive zone. Yeah, that's got to get cleaned up.
Kyler, my take on that is, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
My take on that is I thought the Islanders were a tougher matchup than we give them credit for. Yeah, we won the series 4-1, but I think if you look at like each of those games, I think the Islanders were tougher than they were advertised.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we were fortunate to get out of that series in 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I think that we can't, on paper or team on team or whatever you want to say, but just given how close that series played out on the ice, I thought. But yeah, but absolutely right. Like, yeah, we cannot afford to play disjointed with the Rangers, but vice versa too. They can't afford to play disjointed against us. So
right.
I mean, it's very even.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, Kyler. He's meaning the PP goal. Oh yeah, we talked about that. J-Dub, I was talking about both PKs. Yep, we were talking. Yep. All right, cool. That's the ones that we were discussing earlier that we were asking them which goals they were talking about. Griff is so handsome, says AB Caniac session. Why aren't you in here, fool? I can send you a link. I'm waiting to see what he says.
He's on the toilet.
I'll still send him one as long as he keeps it up here. I don't care. Let's see.
Just kidding.
We got some more from J-Dub. Svets with that last penalty. He just can't stay out of the box. Okay, my take on that last penalty. I feel like that was 2 guys that got tied up on the face-off. You either call them both or you don't call either one. I don't feel like either one of them should have got a penalty there. Let it go. Let them play.
Yeah, I think the refs were looking for a penalty to call right then because it was within a minute and 40 or a minute 30 or 40 seconds, I think.
Yeah, there was 40 seconds left.
Yeah, 40 seconds when they called that. And, I think they were looking – they didn't want that to be the deciding factor.
Mm-hmm.
I know that refs aren't supposed to manage the game, but refs manage the game.
Yeah.
I thought it was a weak call, and it just goes in – the entire game was officiated questionable at best. So
yeah, and that goes for both sides. Like those of you all that weren't here at the beginning of the show, Griff and I agreed the officiating was horrendous in both directions
both
tonight.
Ways. Yeah,
I didn't like it at all.
It was a bad penalty at that moment. Yeah, but I don't know any other point in the game. If that was the second period, I don't think they call it.
Mm-hmm.
It was off of face-off, 2 guys fighting for the puck. Whatever, they were looking for it.
Speaking of Svetch.
Oh, get out of here, AB. Get out of here, AB.
Kyler Kyler says, yeah, was just about to say that I think we're fine. This is usually a game we lose by 4. Today, we nearly sent it to OT. The Islanders had nowhere near the speed that NYR has. Yeah, the Rangers are much better in transition. And so I think that they said they had 23 seconds overall of power play time or whatever it was, and they scored on us twice. They make magic happen in their offensive zone, especially if they have time and space. So I need to stop drinking sparkling water on streams. But like, they're definitely a much faster team. They're not as gritty, but they still have a ton of physicality. It does surprise me Carolina matched the physicality tonight. I think they need to shift their focus away from that and get back to the speed game, because if it's a track meet, Carolina tends to win. A low-scoring track meet.
Like we talked about at the beginning, yeah, I thought that they fed into the Rangers BS in the first period. And I thought that's what, that's what's forced us to chase the game.
Mm-hmm. Whatever. And then let's see. J-Dub, people in here, please hit the like. It's free and it really helps the channel. Oh, also additionally, Caniac Sessions has a YouTube channel now. I will retroactively put the link to it in the description. You guys go over there, and they've been doing a bunch of stuff on Spotify and all their other audio platforms, and now they're on YouTube as well. So let's get some subscribers over to them and help them grow and help them get in the algorithm and everything like that. J-Dub, thank you very much.
Yeah, we're going to shift to fully live, like every time we record.
Oh, that's cool.
We're going to shift to that here, eventually, and we'll go live when we release our episodes, and then the recordings will post. So just a caveat there.
Okay. Let's see. If we play the rest of the series like we played the third period, we take the series. Yes. Agreed. Absolutely. Love the shirt, Gryffindor. I'm waiting on him to just send me a text and say he wants to get in here. He's clearly not busy. Let's see. Jordan Epper. Yeah, I'm just annoyed because we clearly could have won this one, but I'm not concerned long term. I'm not either. I was during the first period, but the more that they built a game and the more they got to their game, I'm kind of like, okay, we'll be fine. We just got to find that consistency. I'm kind of worried because I feel like the only full, complete game they played was Game 5 against the Islanders, because all 3 of the goals that the Islanders had in that game were fluky. One went off Jordo's skate, one went off of Chatty's stick, and then Freddie hit a rut that was deeper, so deep it went all the way to China and fell. Because when I saw the way he fell, I'm like, that wasn't his fault. He hit a rut. I play. So, and the crease is one of the most messed up areas of the ice. Alan says, I can hop on in 30. Okay.
I'll be out of here by then.
Yeah, I'll bring him on, and then you can chirp him from the chat. And so you return the favor. Let's see. J-Dub. Cooch, LOL, he has to deal with it. You don't pick your nicknames. Yes, I agree. Because if I told you about the one I had in the Navy, you'd be like, oh, dude, that's so cool. I'm like, it was not for an enduring reason. I can promise you that. I don't know if I ever told you what it was, but.
No, you didn't. I didn't have a nickname when I was in the Army. It was just Griff.
Mine was used in selective situations, but I was called Baby Rattlesnake because I was meaner than hell.
Oh,
it wasn't because I was a badass or anything. There was just times where I got mad about things that I really just didn't need to. But I've mellowed out now that I'm in my 30s. But when I was in my early 20s, I remember I was in a drive-through one time. I got back from playing pickup and I was starving. And I'm going up to Taco Bell. I'm like, you know what? I want a fucking Crunch Wrap right now. So it's late at night on a Friday, and I'm sober as a judge. I don't drink a whole lot. I go up there. I roll up to the window. I remember exactly what I ordered: 2 Crunch Wraps, 2 chalupas, and a soft taco. Same thing that I always got back then. I go through the drive-through, and this kid hands me the bag, and I'm not proud to admit this, but when he handed it to me, I could tell by the weight of it. I'm like, wait, I'm missing something. I said, excuse me, buddy, I ordered 2 Crunch Wraps. Or I said, hey, I'm short a Crunch Wrap. And he says, well, did you order 2 of them? And instead of me being rational about it because I was hungry, I started yelling at him. And I was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But I was like 19 or 20 years old.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. Now AB's texting the hell out of me. Ignore my... Okay. Let's see. Agreed, Jordan, says J-Dub. I'm just saying with Spets, it's like every other game.
He's been all right in the playoffs.
Yeah, he's actually not been bad so far. Like the one penalty he got in Game 5, I was like, okay, you had to call that. The slashing call. I mean, take a shot every time Svechnikov gets a slashing call. Let's see. I will say I'm glad we didn't fall over and fought till the end. It's just unfortunate we didn't pull it out. Yeah, we're fine. We're fine. If the whole game had went like the first period, then we have a bunch of stuff to worry about, but it didn't. So we're fortunate there. All right. J-Dub just subbed Caniac Sessions. Good deal. They
Thank
have
you.
a really good show. Their podcast actually, when I first started, was the first one I listened to, and then I started listening to Caniac Report because they came up next in the list. It just kind of autoplayed on the next thing, and then I met up with these guys at the home opener, and we've been becoming really good friends ever since, and doing a whole bunch of collaborations and stuff together. And to the guy on X who said that we are an echo chamber, if you could be a fly on a wall in our group chat, no, to hell we are not. We disagree about stuff all the time. We're just not mean to each other about it.
Wait, what? We're an echo chamber. Who said that?
So there was one of the guys that got mad at me for the whole thing where I said that AHL reporter was gonna make that claim. There was one of them that said, and he's like, "Whatever, enjoy your Caniac's echo chamber." And the way that he wrote it, I knew what he meant, and I'm like,
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that's basically what I said. Yeah, whatever.
Go listen to Mark Messier and the ESPN broadcast team.
Okay, yeah, I have something to say about that whole thing. PK Subban, for all the shit that people want to give him, and I'm actually AB's gonna be mad at me for this. I'm gonna extend it to Biznet sometimes. They are more recently removed from the game, and I feel like that they have a better way of being objective in terms of looking at it and what they say in their analysis. Do I agree with everything that they say? No. Is the bias apparent with Biznet especially? Yes. But I feel like his ability to analyze the game when he allows himself to not be biased is actually pretty good. Messier, on the other hand, and to a lesser degree, Chelios, those guys, I don't think either one of them ever held a composite stick. They are very removed from the game. There was only I think 2-line pass was still a thing the last time that Messier touched the ice.
Yeah.
And there's times where I think that they try to apply things that are a little antiquated in their analysis, i.e. what they were discussing with the Tony DeAngelo hit tonight. But when Messier played, that happened 10 times a game. So I don't know, but it just seems like that they really changed their opinion rapidly out of nowhere. It doesn't make any sense. I don't feel like you get consistent analysis with a lot of those guys. PK's the only one on ESPN that I feel like you kind of do.
Yeah, I don't like the bias. I mean, it's obvious bias, and they don't even try to hide it. Especially like Messier and like you said, Chelios and Hank on TNT. And then Biz, obviously, when the Leafs are playing. But I really think that ESPN should do a better job of getting some, or get your analysts in check. Like, hey, don't show your bias.
Yeah,
and I know that it's not just our fan base that feels that way.
Yeah, well, yeah, everybody feels that way. But here's one thing I was actually thinking about with that: these analysts, they're typically NHL veterans, right, of some sort or another, whether they played for a while like PK did or didn't play that long like Trip Tracy. What if you started bringing in guys who played in like the ECHL or the SPHL who know the game pretty well, got paid to play it, just not as much? Bring them in and let them maybe analyze the game, because they're more likely, I think, to be a little bit more impartial. Reason I say that is when I would listen to the Fire Ants and the Marksmen on the radio, and I watched them back in the day on B2 TV, there was one guy there, can't remember his name for the life of me. He got drafted by, I want to say it was the Flyers, and he played for their American League affiliate. He never cracked the lineup at the big club, but I felt like he had the most impartial look possible at that league because he had no emotional attachment to it.
Yeah.
He took a job to be an analyst, and he did really good at it. I don't feel like you can remove the emotional attachment 100% from these guys. Even though they're supposed to be professionals, I don't think they can do it.
Agree.
Let me text AB back here real quick.
I think we got one more comment, and then I'm going to hop out of here.
Yeah, and then after you hop out of here, I've got Natural Stat Trick up, so I'm going to look at some of the advanced metrics because I'm a nerd for that stuff. Let's see. Also, was it just me, or did Jarvis get boarded twice on that play and the second after the whistle? Those were dangerous hits.
Yeah. The boarding on Kreider, definitely. That's what drew the call, and then Trouba came in with a late hit. I mean, straight to the head. At that point, I think Jarvis was either falling down or getting up or whatever he was doing. Maybe he was I don't know if he's in the process of getting up.
I think he was in the process of getting up. Either way, kind of late.
Yeah, and I mean, they're not going to call two penalties on the same, play. I don't know if that's something that player safety will look at post game, because it was definitely straight to the head, and we're lucky that Jarvis didn't exit the game.
Mm-hmm. All righty. So let's see. But yeah, let's see. AB says he can jump on in 30. So yeah, that's a little while off, but I think I can find some stuff to talk about for a little while. All
right.
righty.
Well, hey, I'm going to jump off. I
Yeah,
appreciate you having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming on, dude. It always makes this like a whole lot easier when I have someone to bounce ideas off of and stuff, because like this live streaming stuff, it's not super hard, but when I have someone else to co-host with, it's much more fun.
Last thing I'll say before I get out of here, Canes are fine. I never really expected. I thought we could win this game, but I didn't really. At the end of the day, I didn't really expect that we would.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like game 2 was more realistic. Hopefully, they got everything out of their system as far as bad habits, falling for the Rangers BS. Hopefully, that's gone, and we can just play hockey next time, and get some wins. We'll be fine. I look for them to take game 2 and come back to Raleigh tied 1-1.
Yeah, the pressure goes to the Rangers if they don't win game 2.
Yeah. Hey, nice to meet you too, J-Dub. Follow us, Caniac Sessions, on X at Caniac Sessions. Wherever you get your podcast, there's a Linktree link on our X page. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all that. THPN, the Hockey Podcast Network, DraftKings, SeatGeek, all that good stuff. So follow us, subscribe, like, listen, share, all that good stuff. Thanks for having me, B.
Yeah, no problem. And if you guys need to find their X and everything like that, it's not hard. Just go to mine, and you'll see that like we interact all the time. You won't have to scroll very far to see them. We also recommend Caniac Report as well. They do a lot of stuff with us too, and they've actually been going on for a long time actually. So,
absolutely. All right, I'm out. See you guys.
Thanks, bud.
See you guys for game 2.
Yep, absolutely.
Go Canes.
Go Canes. My dog sitting here staring at me. What's up, buddy? All righty. All right, cool. If anybody in here in the chat has any questions, comments, anything that they would like to exude or discuss before I start going into the advanced metrics of the game, because I have natural stat trick pulled up here, and this creature right here wants a treat, but he ain't getting it yet. You'll get one in a few minutes. I promise you'll get one in a few minutes. Go lay down. Go lay down. Good boy. Thank you. You'll get a good treat here in a little bit, I promise. Sorry, my dog is a menace to society, but I love him. All righty. Okay, so we'll have AB joining us in a little bit. Until then, I am going to start going over the advanced metrics and stuff here. All righty. So let's see. All right. So this heat map right here, I wish I had a way to put it up on the screen. As soon as I have 2 monitors, it'll be a lot easier to do that with StreamYard and everything. Excuse me. Hurricanes were pretty dominant 5-on-5. I don't want to say dominant. They were better. Let's see. Let's go actually look at the numbers here. 5-on-5. Overall, the Rangers had a 42.86 Corsi. The Hurricanes had 57.14, so that's pretty good. Fenwick, Carolina won there, or was better there too, 52.63 versus 47.37. Let's see. Scoring chances for Carolina had a much higher margin, 63.64 and 36.36 for the Rangers. High danger chance percentage, that's where the Rangers really won, especially with the power play and everything like that. But for the sake of looking at it from a possession standpoint, the Hurricanes had, that's exactly what it was. So high danger chance percentage, Rangers had 60, Carolina had 40. Granted, the total of high danger chances was only 4 and 6 respectively. So that's not really that big of a thing. One thing I noticed as I break down the possession metrics per period, Carolina got a little bit better as the game went along. So the Rangers had their 2 power plays where they scored what ultimately decided the game in the first period, and their Corsi was 51% 5-on-5 anyway, but it goes down as the game goes on. Carolina goes to a the Rangers go to 41.67 for the second period and 34.62 for the third. Carolina got better as the game went along. 48.28 in the first period, 58.33 in the second, 65.38 in the third. And it's the same thing with Fenwick. Fenwick was 50-50 in the first two periods and then 57.89. The Rangers actually lost a lot of possession time as the game went on. And that's when Carolina was actually starting to really tip the game in their favor in the second period. They just couldn't get it done in time in terms of, tying it up and everything to maybe force it to go overtime and everything. Expected goals percentage, the Rangers actually scored, let's see, 1.74 expected goals, and they had 2 goals 5-on-5, so they were a little bit above expected. There's a lot for Carolina to build on here. I've gotten really big into the advanced metrics once I did some more research on them and started understanding exactly how they work, because I didn't want to just up and throw numbers out there and say this is this and this is that. So I did a lot of learning about them before I started really applying them in my videos and everything, because I know that there's more to the game than her, goals, assists, and plus minus, which is what a lot of people, specifically ones at Cardiac Kane who have an agenda, want to cite anytime that they want to say that a player is good or that a player is bad. There is a lot more to it than that, especially in the digital age with puck and player tracking and all that type of stuff. So I'm waiting to see how much. Can't wait till AB gets in here so we have some more stuff to talk about. But let's see. Yeah, we got about 18 more minutes until AB gets here. So I might just do like a 10-minute break and then come back and everything. So if that's all right with y'all, I think that's what I'll do. Because I'm also wanting to see what's going. You know what? Actually, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to check in and see what's going on with Vegas and Dallas, because I really want Dallas to win that series. I hate Vegas. I don't remember what channel it's on, though. It is on TBS. All righty. Cool. All right, let's see what's going on here with this Vegas and Dallas game in the meantime while we're waiting on AB. All right, there we go. Got it muted, and otherwise it'll echo in the background. But yeah, Carolina's going to be fine. It was rough game. They'll be okay, but they got better as it went along. And I'm a really big fan of possession metrics, because the Hurricanes front office is very analytically driven anyway, because of Eric Tulsky and everything like that, who I have a feeling he's going to end up being a GM before too much longer anyway, and not for the Hurricanes. I imagine he's going to go elsewhere at some point or another in the offseason. But I'm still 0-0 with Dallas and Vegas. All righty. Yeah, Canes will be fine. All right, cool. All right, boys. I'm going to take a break. When AB's ready to go, we'll be back, and I will put that up here in the chat. Cool. We are back. How you doing, buddy?
Frustrated, but
Yeah.
not upset.
Mm-hmm.
Not upset. So just jump right into it.
Yeah. So give me your thoughts on the game. Griff and I already expressed both of ours, so it'll it's pretty much your floor to talk about whatever you want to talk about, vent what you want to vent.
Can I cuss?
Duh. That's the whole reason it's called the warning take for a reason. Take warning. Things will be said that you may not like.
Our start was fucking bullshit. I do not understand how you don't mark a guy in front of the net on an easy stop, just miscommunication, and then the second time, just right there, another goal, and then the third, Anderson was down. I will say this: none of those were on Anderson because he was playing the way he should have been playing.
Mhm.
It was a defensive collapse.
Yeah.
I will say that the Slavo shot, lucky bounce, that was
Mhm.
good to answer. And then 3-1. And I still had in the back of my mind, hey, we were 3-1 against the Islanders. That went 3-2. And then they answered 4-3. The thing that frustrated me stupid, and I understand fighting for the puck. I understand you're digging in to try to get the puck.
Mhm.
But at the same time, you need to be disciplined and you can't afford that because you
Mhm.
have a 2-man advantage and now it's a 1-man advantage.
Mhm.
So if he didn't take that penalty, maybe there would have been something different.
Mhm.
I thought that Igor didn't play that well.
Mhm.
A lot of the shots were right in his chest,
Mhm.
and knowing Carolina, I thought we were going to put up more.
Mhm.
A lot of the Rangers' goals, all of them were just kind of just like shit.
Yeah.
Like not like okay, that was a great shot. Like
Mhm.
I'm fine with that. It just wasn't well, and the power play didn't perform,
No.
and
You can't
that
go over
was
5 on the
a
power play and
yeah,
complain about
and
losing.
that's a huge problem. So
Mhm.
I'm upset we lost, but I'm not like the series is over because the fact that we came back and fought
Mhm.
to make it 4-3, I mean, it still shows that you're not going to win every single game in the playoffs. You're
Mhm.
not going to have 4 consecutive sweeps.
Mhm.
So I just know they're going to be prepared better. It's still frustrating, but just learn from it, be better prepared, move on to the next one.
Mhm. Yeah, I definitely agree with all that. When Griff and I were talking, there's a lot to build on with the third period, especially. So, like, I'm not really worried about how all this is going to go. Now, the last penalty that Svechnikov got, that's one of the ones where me personally, here's what I think: you either take both guys or you don't take either one of them because I feel like that was a battle off the face off of people get tied up there all the time, and it doesn't matter to me when in the game that occurs. I think that's one of those situations that you let it play out, whether the game's on the line or if it's the second shift of the first period. It's
Hmm.
just one of those things where I think you just let it go.
Yeah.
And another thing Griff and I were talking about, the officiating in both directions tonight was horrendous. We have the right to be pissed off. Rangers fans have the right to be pissed off. I don't think the officiating was good at all, especially considering how many times they had to huddle to discuss things, not to mention, I'm going to go look up the rules about the D'Angelo penalty. I'm pretty sure that they can't do that. I'm confident that they can't.
It's one of those things where I thought originally it was a cross check to Natchez, and then I looked and I was like, that's not a cross check, that's just being aggressive.
No, they called it a trip at first, a minor, and then they elevated it to a major
D'Angelo,
to
he
review
can't.
it.
The thing was is D'Angelo came in when he still had the puck,
Hmm.
and it may have looked like he was elevating,
Hmm.
but Tony D'Angelo is a small guy.
Yeah,
He's
he's
like
only
5'10",
5'10".
5'10".
Yeah, he's the same height I
So,
am.
and when you hit somebody full impact, you're obviously gonna get hit off of your feet.
Hmm.
So that was kind of weird that they uh, had to review that.
Hmm.
And then at the end with the Trocheck icing, I thought they gave way too much time for the Rangers.
Hmm.
And they talked about it next year. The delay of game is going to be reviewed.
Hmm.
So they're cracking down on stuff like that, but in a crucial game like that, you just have to go with your gut. If the guy
Hmm.
calls it, it is what it is.
Hmm.
Just the huddling gave a lot both teams time to really focus on what they wanted to do, and it's just not. I mean, this game has to be fluent.
Hmm.
Besides the TV timeouts or the intermissions are the time where you need to have a break. The only time that I would say that you would have to huddle is if somebody got seriously hurt
Hmm.
on something that was very questionable.
Right.
So I thought it was okay officiating for both the Canes and the Rangers. I will say that they missed a couple of calls for the Rangers and a couple of calls for the Canes.
Hmm.
Uh, but in total, you know, you can't let a power play score 9 seconds into the game.
No,
That's just one of those things where
that sucks the life out of you real quick.
yeah, 100%. But I will say the guys fought. They fought till the very end. They didn't give up. They didn't roll over. I mean, it's something to obviously a loss is deflating, but it's something to be proud of that I didn't feel like that we played awful for 60 minutes.
Hmm.
The start was rough. The second period was okay, but the third period was really solid. Just a couple of bad bounces, and you know, is what it
That was
is.
one of the things Griff and I were talking about. It's like, at least this wasn't one of those situations where we dominated from beginning to end and still lost. It was one of those times where it's like we know what we need to fix to win. It's the issues, the adjustments that need to be made, they're apparent. It's not one of those. It's not like when we were playing against Florida last season, or like, okay, we're killing these guys and everything, but the scoreboard, how do we get solved for Bobrovsky and we extend the series and probably win it?
Right.
And they just never really, they could never solve that one small issue, but now they've got some kind of glaring ones that I think won't be that difficult to fix. The penalty kill has definitely got to get better. So that's the first thing that I really think just needs to be fixed, like immediately. That really cost us tonight. If we're 50% on the penalty kill tonight, this game goes to overtime.
Mhm.
So that's where I really think they need to fix it. And as far as the power play goes, I know I'll get hated for this by a lot of people. Griff and I talked about it a little bit, and I had my reasoning for it and everything. I think that the power play going 0 for 5 tonight and being kind of subpar against the Islanders, while Tony's still in the lineup, because he's out when Pesci comes back. Go ahead and put him on one of those units, probably the second one, because Burnsy's not going to come off the power play. Put him on there. Let him maybe breathe some life back into it, because around the time Aho got his 500th point, that was when they put Tony back on the power play and it started working again. He opens up penalty killing formations with how good he is at walking the line. He gets shots through because he does the silent wrist, or he doesn't wind up. You don't see it coming. And he passes it better than anybody on the team except for maybe Teravainen and Kuznetsov. But as far as everybody on the blue line, no one distributes the puck on this team better than him. So while we've got him, before he inevitably goes back to the press box, I think you use him to kind of get the power play going again.
Yeah, what really frustrated me, and with those guys on the power play one, all of those guys have so much potential to just shoot it and see if it goes in.
Mm-hmm.
For me, there was way too much passing, and I will say this: I'll give the Rangers defense credit. They
Mm-hmm.
played very solid on the penalty kill.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too much passing, and you know this, and I know this, and so many Canes fans know this. I mean, we put shots on goal.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like a totally different team in the first two periods
Yeah, the
because we
shot
weren't.
saturation that we're used to was not there.
Yeah,
Give me 1 second, please, but you can go ahead and keep talking. I'm going to grab something.
yeah. I will say this is, the Canes weren't the way they should have been. When you're on the power play, that's an advantage. I get, if you were going to pass the puck, I understand, if you're looking for the right shot, but the thing is, sometimes you need to be aware of the situation and you need to understand that this is a crucial game. We're not giving this guy a lot of action because Igor, he didn't get a lot of high danger chances. He got a couple. I will say that, but at the end of the day, it's one of those things where yes, we had 25 shots. They had 23. We won more faceoffs. We had 5 power play opportunities. They had 2, and they converted 2 for 2.
Mm-hmm.
And those power play and penalty kill statistics are very, very close. However, it just felt like after that second goal, I knew, this was kind of in the bag.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm
what do
not
you think?
upset. I'm not upset, but
Mm-hmm. So I was thinking Kochetkov for game 2. What do you think about that?
I honestly don't understand why they didn't go to him after the third goal.
Mm-hmm.
Because my thing with it as a goalie, not as ice hockey, whether it's street or floorball, whenever I get pulled, I get so pissed.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at my teammates because a lot of those, maybe they're on me, maybe they're on the defense. It's frustrating as hell.
Mhm.
So it's one of those things where I wish they would have put him in on the
Mhm.
third goal to maybe light a little bit more of a spark, but Canes didn't give up. Unfortunate circumstances. In all honesty, I would probably put Kochetkov in game 2 just to feel out the waters.
Mhm.
If we don't win game 2, then that's maybe a time to worry a little bit. But
Mhm.
if we win and Kochetkov plays well, don't change it. Freddie's been great. He played really well beside the 3 goals, which were not his fault.
Mhm.
So maybe give a young goaltender a little bit of chance and realize, Freddie doesn't have a lot of time left in the NHL, and to
Mhm.
really light a fire under your ass to understand that, hey, this is the final countdown. Like, you have to win. And I've
Mhm.
seen so many people on Twitter, and I agree that this is the deepest Canes team that we've seen in the past 6 years.
Mhm. By far,
And
this
we
is probably the
did,
deepest one we've ever had.
yeah, and we didn't make it this far to lose in the second round.
No.
So I mean, it's time to step up. Game 2, I'm expecting a win and to go from there.
Mhm. Well, I'm gonna have to call it a night. My dog's getting restless. I think he needs to be walked and all kinds of other stuff. He's being a little spin.
Frank
Good
the
boy.
Tank,
Frank the Tank, or it's like I've had so many other nicknames for him.
Frankie.
He's been yeah. Frankie's the main one. I've called him Doggy Hamilton and Tony Dog Angelo.
Tell him to spin one more time.
Spin. Lay down. Roll over. Good boy. Yeah, he's getting he's been good all day though. If I spend too much time on the computer and don't pay enough attention to him, he starts getting
He'll
a little
get pissed.
he starts getting a little. He's like, "Hey, what about me? Lay down. Stay." He's a really good dog. He's just crazy. He's a menace to society. I don't know where he got that from.
I don't know either. That's a really good question.
Yeah, he doesn't like authority for some reason either. No idea where he got that from.
I mean, either.
Yeah, he's a good boy. All right, everybody, thank you for joining us. This has been fun. I will probably not be able to do anything this week because I got to work 10-hour days all week. Saturday, though, I'm planning on doing a pregame show. I know you guys will be at the game, so good luck.
Saturday?
Try not to get
Yeah.
That's when game 4 is, right?
Yep.
Okay. I probably won't make it down for that one just because I just got way too much to do up here. But I'm not worried about the Canes advancing. I know that I think they're going to take it in 7. So, I really think they'll take it in 7. So when they go back on the road for game 5 is probably the next time I think we can all try and get together and do a pregame show.
Right. Well, I appreciate it, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, buddy. Go take care of whatever's going on in there. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to get out of here for the night. Y'all take care. I'll see you next time.